Good morning, students. Today we are going to continue this lesson, Evans Tries and O-Level, probably the concluding part and the last part of the lesson, right? So we stopped at a point on page number 81, you can say, and where the conversation between McLeary and Evans is there. Stop writing, please. Put your sheets in order as the invigilators generally instruct us, right? And after that, the Stephens, the officer, wanted to have a cup of coffee after seeing him of McLeary at the prison gates as per the orders of the governor. And when he saw all these things, this part also of page number 82 we have read, he found an injured man sitting on the chair, and that was McLeary. He could collect this, or he could gather this, that this was McLeary who has been injured. And we have discussed some points like the hanky had become squelchy because of the blood, and the blood droplets were on the floor also, and dripping also. And so let me read the last part of this page so that you can recapitulate and recollect what we did in the previous class. We must get you to the hospital immediately. When governor saw him, he felt sad, and both the officers helped him towards the governor's office. And we must get you to hospital immediately. I just don't. You have called the police. Yes, they are on their way, but I'm all right. And he says that I'm all right and no need to take me to the hospital. And I know where Evans has gone. And he shows them a question paper. A sheet was attached to it at the back of the paper, which had the clues. Now these clues he showed to the governor. You see what they have done, governor. His voice trailed off again as the governor, dredging the layers of the long neglected learning, willed himself to translate the German text before him. Because it was a German paper, governor was very proud that he had studied this German till 6th grade, but it took time for him to go through it. And then he read some lines in the German, which are given size, all of them, shown, orbital pronunciations may be different, because German we hardly know how to pronounce, and the meaning of this line is when you must follow the plan, already something. The vital point in time is the 3 minutes before the end of the examination. So in the German paper, there was a script at the back, and the script said this thing. This was the clue for Evans. This is being shown by McLeary, who is injured. That I'll show you what he has done. Right? So he confirmed that Evans has run away and Stephens has left him at the gate. And this exchange now is the mystery, is the surprising point, or is the actually the queries that you ask, that how did he injure and how did he do all this? They themselves will disclose, and this part we are about to read. Now you must follow, I'm on page number 83 on the top, 4th or 5th line. You must follow the plan, already something. The vital point in time is 3 minutes before the end of the examination, but something, don't hit him too hard. Remember, he is a minister, and don't overdo the Scottish accent. Let me share the screen with you. Page number 18. So you'll understand this better. Just give me a minute. Page number 70. We are here, 82, right, on the top. 83, sorry. Yes, these are the lines. You must follow the plan. 5th line, you must follow the plan as plan already something, like the vital point in time is 3 minutes before the end of the examination, but something. Oh, instructions are there. Don't hit him too hard. Remember, he's a minister, and don't overdo Scots accent when. Because if you remember his Scottish accent, the person whom Stephens left at the gates, his Scottish accent was somewhat artificial and little broader when he came in the morning. Is it the one who came and the one who went are two different personalities? Or what picture is being created by these planners? Very smart, intelligent, shrewd Evans, right? A fast approaching siren wailed to its crescendo. The great doors and the sirens went on, right, to their high pitch, and prison yard were pushed back, and a white police car squealed to a jerky halt beside them. You can understand how the fast moving cars, when they take a halt, what sounds are produced. In that particular fashion, a fast approaching siren wailed to its crescendo. The great doors of the prison yard were pushed back. Detective Superintendent Carter swung himself out of the passenger seat of this car and saluted the governor. So Carter, the detective, has been called. What the hell is happening, sir? And turning to McCleary, Christ, who has hit him? Now, dear children, for you to understand this is after this much of time, after completing this much of the lesson, you must understand the person who is injured is McCleary or Evans. This is for us to understand. He's telling where Evans has gone. The plan is moving very nicely. Christ, who hit him? But McCleary cut across whatever explanation the governor might have given. Elsfield Way officer, I know where Evans. So McCleary cut. He interrupted in between the conversation and he said, I know where has he gone. He was breathing heavily. So he was not naturally feeling all these because he is not injured. He's pretending to be injured and he's pretending to be what all is the part of his plan. And now he's breathing heavily and leaned for support. The side of the car where the imprint of his hand was left in tarnished crimson. Tarnished crimson, red color of that stain. Right? He's injured. So in bewilderment, Carter looked to the governor for guidance. What? Take him with you if you think he will be all right. Now governor instructed Carter to take this man McCleary. Right? Now for you to ponder. One who has gone is McCleary. Inside is McCleary. Who's McCleary? Who is the real McCleary then? Right? The one has already been left by Stephens. And this McCleary, whom governor is saying to the Carter to take him in the car if he can be of any help. And he also needs some first aid and all. So Elsfield Way, McCleary had said. And there it was staring up at the governor from the last few lines of the German text. From Elsfield Way Drive to the Headington roundabout. Where? So these clues they are taking from the examination paper. The examination board was in Elsfield Way. And someone from the board must have been involved in the escape plan from the very beginning. The question paper itself has that superimposed script. Then the correction slip came and the governor turned to Jackson and Stephens. I don't need to tell you what has happened, do I? His voice sounded almost very rash and almost calm in its scathing contempt. Now he was contemptuous, very angry, but his voice was in this way. When you are very angry, there is anger and a different type of calmness. It's satirical and rash. And which one of you two morons was it who took Evans for a nice little walk to the main gates and waved him bye-bye? Now we ask, who was the stupid person who took Evans to the main gates? It was me, sir, stammered Stephens, just like you told me, sir. I could have sworn. What? Just like I told you, you say? What the hell? Now he did not tell any, or he did not give any orders. So the problem is he did not give orders, then where the orders have come from? When you rang, sir, and told me, when was that? The governor's voice was whiplish now. Now his voice was more, stronger and strange, right? So he was now worried about this, as if whipping someone. When did I tell you that, right? So he did not tell him anything. Then where the orders have come from? You know, sir, about 20 past 11, just before. You blithering idiot. Please underline these lines. They may come in MCQs because this year only we have been introduced with this. So you perfect idiot, you blithering idiot, complete idiot, right? So this way, dear students, you can please underline also. It wasn't me who rang you. So don't you realize, but what was the use? He had used the telephone at the time, but only to try to get through the examinations board. Now he calls him, "You idiot, I did not tell you to take Stephens. I did not tell you to take anyone to the gates." Right? But what was the use? He had used the telephone at the time, but only to try to get through the examination board. Now this governor was on the phone continuously. When the correction slip had come, he had rung them, but nobody picked and the line was engaged at the time. If you remember, when we were reading 2 days back, we were on the spot. What was the use of his all these efforts? He shook his head in growing despair and turned on the senior prison officer. "As for you, Jackson, how long you have been pretending you have got a brain?" Now he got scolded senior officer after scolding the junior officer. This much part is clear, dear students. Kindly revert so that we can move further.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine, very good. "How long have you been pretending you have got a brain?" "Well, I tell you something, Jackson, your skull is empty, absolutely empty." It was Jackson who had spent 2 hours in Ivan's cell the previous evening, and it was Jackson who had confidently reported that there was nothing hidden away here, nothing at all. Then how did he injure? The point is, dear student, how did he injure when everything, the razor, the knife, and all sharp-edged things were taken from him, and very minutely the precautions were taken and checking was done. Still, so he gets a scolding from the governor. Here is Jackson now. And yet Evans had somehow managed to conceal not only a false bed, a pair of spectacles, a dog collar, and all the rest of his clerical paraphernalia. All the things that he might have used for these paraphernalia, but also some sort of weapon with which he had given McLeary such a terrible blow across the head. A prison van bagged alongside, but the governor made no immediate move. He looked down at the last line of the German to the Headington roundabout, where you go straight over and make your way to New Graben. Now, New Graben, what on earth knew something? Then he thought of all the places which had the term or the word new in it. New grave. Never heard of it. There was war grave somewhere near Reading, but no, it was probably a code word. And then it hit him, Newbury. God, yes, there is a place which is called Newbury. It was a pretty big sort of place. But now, dear students, the examination paper and the clues on it, they guided the governor that he has gone to Newbury. He rapped out his orders to the driver, "St. Aldate's police station, and step on it, take Jackson and Stephens. Here, when you get there, ask for Bell. Bell is the another Chief Inspector Bell." Got that? Now you go to Newbury. Governor ordered these people, St. Aldate's police station, and take Jackson and Stephens. Now the mistake being done by the governor is his idiot officers are again, or whom he calls them stupid officers, they are again given the duty or important task to be done by them. And Chief Inspector Bell will accompany them. He leaped the stairs to his office 3 at a time, got a Bell on the phone immediately, and put the facts before him. "We'll get him, sir," said Bell. "We'll get him with a bit of luck." The governor sat back and lit a cigarette. What a beautiful laid plan it had all been. What a clever fellow Evans was. Careless, leaving that question paper behind. Now, dear children, this question paper was intentionally left by him to misguide them. Please make a note that when they are going to Newbury, it has been misguided. He'll go somewhere else and he'll guide that he has left to Newbury. So, a well-laid plan, which governor is again thinking that he has got the plan, and because the question paper has been left by Evans, but that paper has been left intentionally by Evans, right? So careless leaving here is not the careless leaving, but it is the part of the plan to misguide them. I hope this point is clear. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Well, almost all of them, and that's why very, very shortly, Mr. Clever Evans would be back inside doing his once more. Right? So governor was now very sure that he will take catch hold of him at Newbury and Mr. Clever, Clever Evans. So what beautiful adjectives they have used for him. Well-laid plan, Einstein, Shirley Temple. There was a term, the very popular actress of USA, right? So the Einstein, they called him, right? Then the phone on his desk erupted in a strident burst, and Superintendent Carter informed him that McLeary had spotted Evans driving off along Elsfield Way. They had got the number of the car all right and had given chase immediately, but had lost him at Headington roundabout. When now the governor received the call from Carter, who is with McLeary. Now, dear children, make a point. Who is this McLeary with Carter? Can anyone answer? Who is this injured McLeary with the Superintendent Carter in the car, who is taking him, and he's saying that they spotted the car, then the car got mixed up in the traffic, they missed the car, they lost him at the Headington roundabout. He must have doubled back into the... Anyone who can answer who is this, or can think, ponder over that, who is this McLeary, who is with Carter? Right. See, one McLeary has gone already as an invigilator, whom Stephens left at the gate. There were two people, McLeary and Evans, in the cell. The second one is with Carter, right? So one McLeary, they are thinking that was Evans. And who is this then injured one? He explained his reasons for believing so and left it that it was police job now, not his. He was just another good for a giggle gullible governor. That was all. What do you mean by good for a giggle gullible governor? This means that the governor was suitable. He deserved to be laughed at by people like readers as well as the fellow people in the play. If they used to laugh at him, he deserved that laugh because he's doing nothing and he's moving on and doing the things which are just to pretend. By the way, I hope you managed to get McLeary to the hospital all right. Yes, he is in the Radcliffe now. Really groggy, and he was groggy, shabby. He was when we got to the examination offices, and they rang for the ambulance from there. The governor rang the Radcliffe a few minutes later and asked for the accident department. McLeary, you say. Now, governor called the McLeary also, where he has been admitted to the hospital by Carter. By the way, Carter, I hope you managed to get McLeary to the hospital, all right? Yes, he is in the Radcliffe now. When governor called these Radcliffe hospital people, they say there was no such man. I don't think there is anyone. So he has also run. Make a point now, both their people have run. The one Evans and who has come as McLeary. Now, oh, that, yes, we sent an ambulance, all right. But then we got there, the fellow had gone. No one seemed to know where he was, just vanished. When we sent the ambulance, no one was there. He has also run away, but the governor was no longer listening. Now, governor had understood, I have been befooled, I have been cheated by this man once again, right? And the truth seemed to hit him with an almost physical impact somewhere in the back of his neck, as if he has been hit by someone at the back of his neck. A quarter an hour later, they found Reverend McLeary securely bound and gagged in his study. Now, this point you need to underline, children. This part of the lesson is very, very important. Your queries will be solved. A quarter an hour later, they found the actual McLeary in his own flat, gagged, with the cloth in his mouth and tied very tightly so that he cannot run, and they relieved him there. So someone else has come as McLeary, who went to McLeary's flat, took all his identity, everything, and came. And who was this McLeary who has come as invigilator? The fake one, the cheater who has come, who has impersonated McLeary and has come as an invigilator. So real McLeary was lying there. Who had walked out? It had been, let me read this line for you. A quarter of an hour later, they found the Reverend McLeary securely and bound and gagged in his study in Broad Street. He had been there, he said, since 8:15 a.m. when two men had called and he was treated this way. Two men had called him in the morning and they had made him suffer this way. Inquiries in a quarter an hour later, this please paragraph you underline, and inquiries in Newbury throughout the afternoon produced nothing. And at the, that side of the thing or the story or the this drama being going on, Newbury, the officer, the governor had sent his people. Nothing was there. Stephens, Jackson and Mr. Bell, they found nothing there, nothing at all. And by tea time, everyone in the prison knew what had happened. It had not been Evans impersonating McCleary who had walked out. It had been Evans impersonating McCleary who had stayed in. This is the answer for many other questions. And what are those questions? What are those questions, dear students? Right? Now, let me end this. We'll continue in the next class, dear all. That, let me tell you what is this happening here so that you can have answers in your mind. It had not been Evans impersonating McCleary. It had not been Evans copying McCleary, who had walked out, the one who had been left out by Stephens. Are you getting my point? Are you getting that the one who was left by Stephens at the gate, it had not been Evans. They had thought that Evans had run away. It was who had stayed in as injured was the person. It had been Evans impersonating McCleary. Evans was doing or impersonating himself as McCleary was inside and pretended to be injured, right? They had thought that he has run away. So this impersonation, imitation, copying, cheating now has been revealed and everyone has come to it. Right, dear students? Okay, so by this time they had come to know what has happened. You need to underline these lines in your lesson. Dear children, understood?
No slight confusion.
Confused still? Shall I explain you again? See, there are three major episodes here. The McCleary who leaves the prison gates. Right? This is, they thought, they did a drama by a little bit exchange of clothes and all, or the coat was little longer, the accent was little different. The police officers thought, especially Stephens when he came before a cup of coffee. He said that Evans has left and everyone in the machinery of the prison believed them. They did not look at the person who was injured, whether he was Evans or McCleary. They believed that yes, McCleary has run away. Now this McCleary who has run away or who has gone, who has been left by Stephens was one of the friends. Because later on in the story we come to know that real McCleary was in his flat only. The second point. The third, they disclose now, they got to know by the evening that the one who has left was the friend. The person who was injured inside and who went to the hospital and then ran away from there was actually Evans. Right? We'll continue and you'll understand more and explore more. Right, dear? You will just do a reading, you'll come to know and you will explore more points and we'll continue. Right? Thank you.